Hello students, today we are going to see unit number 3, that is photoelectricity, X-rays and laser from applied science physics. So in today's session we are going to learn about X-rays and its content are as follows. So first we are going to see the production of X-rays using modern Coolidge tube, how X-rays are produced in Coolidge tube. Second, we are going to see some properties of X-rays, and the last one are the applications of X-rays. So these are the contents for today's session. So the first one is introduction. So these X-rays were discovered by scientist Röntgen in 1895. So Röntgen was studying cathode rays, and while performing the experiment on cathode rays, he found that the photographic plate gets affected by an unknown highly penetrating radiation. He found that those photographic plates were blackened due to these unknown radiations, and since these radiations were unknown, so he named that radiation as X-rays. Since X-rays are discovered by Röntgen, X-rays are also called as Röntgen rays. They are also called as Röntgen rays. So, a question may be asked on exam regarding this. X-rays are also known as Röntgen rays. So when high velocity cathode rays means a stream of electrons. So these electrons, they are highly accelerated, their speed is highly increased by applying suitable potential difference between cathode and anode, and these highly accelerated electrons, they are allowed to strike on a target, and when they strike on a target, these electrons, they penetrate into the atom of target and collides with the electrons in the inner cell of the atom. And as these electrons collide with inner cell of the atom, they transfer their kinetic energy to those inner electrons, and these inner electrons, they get knocked out from the atom. And as these electrons get knocked out, the vacancy is created at that place, and that vacancy is filled by higher level electron or higher orbit electron. So when higher level electron fills that vacancy, then the loss of energy, it gets emitted in the form of X-rays. So we can say that the X-rays are given out. So we can say that what is the origin of X-ray? So when high velocity electron strikes on a target, then X-rays are given out. Or in other words, we can say that when a target is bombarded by high velocity electrons, or when high velocity electrons are suddenly stopped by target, then X-rays are given out. So here you can see an atom. So here is the nucleus, which is shown by this N, and electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus in different orbit or in different energy levels. So this is incident electron. It has high kinetic energy. It is highly accelerated electron. So its kinetic energy is very high, and as this electron, it is bombarded on the target, this electron gets penetrated through the atom, and it knocks out the inner orbit electron. So this one is the inner orbit electron, which is knocked out by this electron. So as this electron gets knocked out, a vacancy is created here, and this vacancy is filled by higher energy electron. And as the higher energy electron fills this vacancy, the loss of energy, it is given out in the form of X-rays. So we now know how X-rays are produced when the highly moving electrons are suddenly stopped by target. So here comes the definition of X-rays, which is very important because a couple of questions may be asked in exam regarding this definition of X-rays as well as a range of X-rays. So X-rays are the electromagnetic radiation which having very short wavelength. So X-rays are nothing but the part of electromagnetic spectrum, part of electromagnetic radiation having very short wavelength in the range of 10 raised to minus 10 meter to 10 raised to minus 11 meter. So the range of wavelength of X-rays, it is given as 10 raised to minus 10 to 10 raised to minus 11 meter, which is given in meters. So we know that 10 raised to minus 10 meter, it is nothing but 1 angstrom unit. Similarly, 10 raised to minus 11 meter, I can write this as 0.1 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter, and here 10 raised to minus 10 meter is nothing but 1 angstrom unit. So I can substitute this here. So I will get 10 raised to minus 11 meter is equal to 0.1 angstrom unit. So the range of X-rays, range of wavelength of X-rays, if it is asked in angstrom unit, in exam, the question may be asked in angstrom unit. So you better remember this. 10 raised to minus 10 meter, it is nothing but 1 angstrom unit. 2, 10 raised to minus 11 meter, it is nothing but 0.1 angstrom unit. So the range of wavelength of X-rays, in angstrom unit is 0.1 to 1 angstrom unit. So this range of wavelength, it is equivalent or equal to the size of atom. So the X-rays, they are used to study the structure of atom, because wavelength of X-ray is comparable, equivalent or similar to size of the atom. Got it? Right. So next, here an electromagnetic spectrum is shown. So we can start from these gamma rays from lower wavelength to higher wavelength. So at this end wavelength is low and at this end wavelength is high. So gamma rays, wavelength of gamma rays is 10 raised to minus 12 meter, and since its wavelength is very low, its frequency is very high, about 10 raised to 20 Hz. That means the energy purchased by gamma rays or the energy of gamma rays is very high among the electromagnetic spectrum. The size of atomic nuclei is comparable to wavelength of gamma rays. Next comes X-rays. So X-rays wavelength is 10 raised to minus 10 meter. Its size is compared to size of the atom, and its frequency is also high, of the order of 10 raised to 18 Hz. Means the energy purchased by X-rays is also high. Next comes ultraviolet rays. So the wavelength of ultraviolet rays is higher than X-rays. It is of the order of 10 raised to minus 8 meter, and its size is compared to size of molecules. Its frequency is also high, 10 raised to 16 Hz. That means the energy purchased by ultraviolet rays, it is also high. The next comes visible light. The wavelength of visible light is 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter, and its size is compared to size of protozoans. Its frequency is 10 raised to 15 Hz. Next is infrared. So the wavelength of infrared waves is 10 raised to minus 5 meter, and its size is compared to size of pinpoint or honeybees. Frequency is 10 raised to 12 Hz. Next is microwaves. The wavelength of microwave is higher than infrared. It is of the order of 10 raised to minus 2 meter. And the last one is radio waves, whose wavelength is highest, 10 raised to 3 meter or 1000 meter. Its frequency is 10 raised to 4 Hz. So among these electromagnetic spectrum, gamma rays is the radiation having highest energy. Next comes X-rays, then ultraviolet, and the radio waves are the radiation having lowest energy and highest wavelength. So we can say that X-rays, they are part of electromagnetic spectrum. So X-rays comes under this part of an electromagnetic spectrum. We know its wavelength range as well as its frequency range. Its frequency is of the order of 10 raised to 18 Hz. Right. So okay. So the next one is production of X-rays using modern Coolidge tube. So first we have to understand the principle of production of X-rays. So what is the principle? When fast moving electrons, when these fast moving electrons, they are suddenly stopped by a target, then X-rays are produced. So this is the principle of production of X-rays. So here is a diagram which shows how X-rays are produced. So it consists of an evacuated hard glass tube called Coolidge tube. So in that Coolidge tube, cathode in the form of filament is fitted. So this is cathode, and anode is fitted in this Coolidge tube. So filament, it is surrounded by a cylinder which is maintained at higher negative potential with respect to filament, and higher potential difference is created between cathode and anode with the help of step up transformer. Right. So let us see the construction and working. So this Coolidge tube, it consists of highly evacuated hard glass bulb with cathode filament and anode. The cathode, it is surrounded by metal cylinder which is kept at negative potential to the filament. So the function of this cylinder is to focus the electron into a sharp point, into a sharp beam on the anode. The target T consists of copper block in which a piece of tungsten is fitted. So anode, it is made up of tungsten and it is fitted on the copper block, and this target is placed at an angle of 45 degree with the path of electron beam. So why this target is inclined by angle 45 degree with the path of electron beam? So it is very simple. It is inclined so that the X-rays produced doesn't get mixed with incoming electrons. So to avoid mixing of X-rays with incoming electron beam, the target is inclined by an angle of 45 degree. So the working, the cathode is heated by electric current, and this electric current due to this electric current, electron gets emitted from the filament from the cathode due to a phenomenon called thermionic emission. So as the current passes through filament, that filament gets heated up, and this heat is absorbed by atoms of the filament, and the electron gets emitted from those atoms. So this phenomenon is called thermionic emission, and these emitted electrons, they get focused on the anode with the help of cylinder. These electrons, they are accelerated by applying higher voltage, higher potential difference between cathode and anode by using step up transformer. So here you can see in diagram, step up transformer is used to provide the higher potential difference between cathode and anode. So this negative charge, it repels those electrons, emitted electrons, and the positive charge on anode attracts those electrons. So due to this potential difference, the electron gets accelerated. So when these highly accelerated fast moving electrons bombarded on the tungsten target, then these electrons lose their kinetic energy, right, and X-rays are produced from the target. So during this process, some amount of kinetic energy is converted to large amount of heat, and it is very important to dissipate that heat, otherwise the target will melt down. And to dissipate the heat, the target, it is mount on a copper block, because copper is good conductor of heat. So copper block carries heat away from the target, and a cooling system is fitted at the other end of copper block. So this cooling system, water flowing through this cooling system, it absorbs the heat conducted by copper rod. So whole this system is to dissipate the heat produced. Here, by controlling the filament current, the thermionic emission can be controlled. That means if the current flowing through filament is increased, then filaments gets further heated and it emits more electron, and since more electrons get emitted, then the intensity of X-rays can be increased. So by controlling the filament current, we can control the intensity of X-rays. So if we need high intensity X-rays, then we have to apply more current, we have to apply more voltage to the filament, right? And by controlling the potential difference between cathode and anode, the quality of X-rays can be controlled. So the next one is properties of X-rays. X-rays shows following properties. So let us see one by one. First property, X-rays are the electromagnetic radiation of very short wavelength. So we already seen it, and the wavelength of X-rays, it is 10 raised to minus 10 meter to 10 raised to minus 11 meter, or 1 angstrom unit to 0.1 angstrom unit. Right? Awesome. So the second one, since X-rays are a part of electromagnetic spectrum, they travel with speed of light. So we know that the speed of electromagnetic waves is equal to the speed of light. So X-rays also travel with speed of light, that is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second through vacuum. Next property, X-rays affect photographic plates. So when photographic plates gets exposed to X-rays, they get blackened due to photographic plates. X-rays produce fluorescence in many substances. When X-rays passes through such substances, fluorescence is produced. X-rays can be reflected or refracted under certain conditions. Next, X-rays are not deflected by magnetic or electric field. They do not have any effect of electric and magnetic field on them. They have high penetrating power. So we know that X-rays, they easily penetrate through paper, thin sheets, as well as our flesh, etc. X-rays produce photoelectric effect. They are invisible to our eyes. And the last property, X-ray kills some form of animal cells. So these are some of the properties shown by X-rays. Very important point regarding exam. The next point is minimum wavelength of X-rays. We know that for given potential difference, X-rays produced has different wavelengths, but there is certain minimum value of wavelength. So for a given potential, wavelength of X-rays cannot be less than certain minimum value called minimum wavelength of X-rays, and it is given by lambda minimum. And here is the formula to calculate minimum wavelength of X-rays. It is given by lambda minimum is equal to Hc upon EV. Hc upon EV. Right. So here H is Planck's constant, whose value is 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. C is the speed of light, it is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. E is the charge on electron, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. And V is the applied voltage. V is the applied voltage. Right. So lambda minimum, if we substitute the value of H, C and E in this equation and calculate, we will get this. Lambda minimum is equal to 12,400 upon V into 10 to the power minus 10 meter, and we know that 10 to the power minus 10 meter, it is nothing but 1 astrominute. So we can write lambda minimum is equal to 12,400 upon V in angstrom unit. So this is the equation for minimum wavelength of X-rays. From this equation we can determine the minimum wavelength of X-rays. So it depends on the potential difference applied between cathode and anode. Right. And the last point, it is application of X-rays. So first, engineering application of X-rays. X-rays are used to detect the cracks in the body of aeroplane. Then X-rays are used to detect the manufacturing defects in rubber tires. They are used to detect the flaws or cracks in metal jobs. They are used to distinguish real diamond from duplicate one. Next, X-rays are used to detect smuggling gold at airport and dockyard. They are used to detect cracks in the wall, and X-ray radiography is used to check the quality of welded joints. So these are some of the engineering applications of X-rays. Getting it? So it is very important regarding exam. Next is scientific application. X-rays are used to study the structure of crystal. They are used in a chemical analysis. They are used to study the structure of rubber, plastic, cellulose, etc. They are used for analysis of structure of organic molecules. So these are some of the scientific applications of X-rays. And the last one, medical applications. So in medical field, X-rays has a variety of applications. X-rays are used in surgery to detect bone fracture. X-rays are used to cure skin diseases and destroy tumors. They are used in a treatment of cancer, and they are used to detect the position of bullet inside the body. So these are some of the medical applications of X-rays. So let us see some multiple choice questions on X-rays. First question, X-rays are also called as option Newton's ray, Röntgen ray, Reynolds ray and infrared ray. Since we know that X-rays are discovered by Röntgen, X-rays are also called as Röntgen rays. Next question, the minimum wavelength of X-rays is given as, the minimum wavelength of X-rays, we know its equation in angstrom unit 12,400 upon V, which is option number 1. Right. Next question number 3. In Coolidge tube, a suitable potential difference is maintained between the cathode and target using transformer. So step-up transformer is used to maintain the suitable high potential difference between cathode and anode. So this cooling system, it is used to dissipate the heat. Filament, it is used to emit the electron to create the electron beam. Molybdenum shield, it is used to focus the electron into sharp beam, and transformer is used to maintain a suitable potential difference between cathode and anode. Next question, which of the following is or are applications of X-rays? They are used in treatment of cancer, used to study crystal structure, used in chemical analysis. So all these are applications of X-rays. So the right option is option number 4, all of the above. Next, X-rays are produced by X-ray tube working on 40 kilo volt. The minimum wavelength of X-ray is, the options they are given in angstrom unit. So we have to use the formula of minimum wavelength in angstrom unit, and we know it is 12,400 upon V angstrom unit. So we can put the value of V, it is 40 kilovolt, which is equal to 40 into 10 raised to 3 volt. So I can write this as 12,400 divided by 40 into 10 raised to minus 3 angstrom unit. 0 0 get cancelled. Right, 310. So it is 310 into 10 to the power minus 3 angstrom unit. So if I multiply this by 10 raised to minus 3, then the decimal, it shifts towards left by 3 places. So I can get 0.310 angstrom unit. Right. So the option, correct option is option number 2.